Repeat, we control all objectives. Out of here. We've lost the objective. We've lost the objective. Five guys have spotted a bird in the area.
And we're back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 2 of GamPot. Tonight's episode: why Battlefield 4 was a dub. Dum dum dum. Roll intro. I'm kidding with you. The intro was already rolled. Whoa, Boberta. What's going on here? You yanking my chain? First Como, now you. Next Newsome. Who else? Who's gonna yank it even further? I don't know. Don't ask me. Ladies and gentlemen, and those in between, let's get right to it, okay? Give me 1 second. Gotta praise God and take a sip. You know? Oh, fuck. Okay, so after pouring one out for the homies and then pouring one out for myself and praising God, let's get right to it. Why Battlefield 4 is and was and will always be a dub. In light of being the Battlefield 3 with a little bit more color and added textures and mechanics to the game, the 2014 release of Battlefield 4 was one of the best choices that DICE has ever published. Boberta, what do you mean? They got Battlefield 1, they got Battlefield 5, they got Battlefield 3. What do you mean? Well, yes, but no. The best choice in my path I think here, AOL screech real quick. You know why it was the best choice? Because after Battlefield 4 came a whole shift to the Battlefield name. Okay, hold on. Let me stop right here, and then let me continue a little bit. What I meant to say, why Battlefield 4 was one of the best and smartest choices to leave off of, because after Battlefield 4 in 2014 and 2016, you had Battlefield 1, which was World War I, and then in 2018, you had Battlefield 5, which was World War II. Now, I don't know about y'all. You know, I like history, but I like my modern day. Everybody, I think, in my own honest opinion, I'm not really going off of anybody else's opinion, because why would I? In my honest opinion, after Battlefield 4, everybody was hoping and expecting for some modern day shooter. Because if you think about it, if you think a minute, if you take a second to take a second and think a little bit for a second, and you connect the dots, and then you go back in history and you look at the history. This time, at this point in time in the history, Call of Duty was releasing Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, doo-dah, woo-dah with the spacecrafts, all this and that, okay? Now, I don't know when those dates came out. I could probably look it up, but I'm not. That's for another time. But they said, to the future, and I said, not so much, Jack. So while everybody was saying, oh yeah, futuristic shooters, and Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and Black Ops 4, Black Ops 2, remind you, Black Ops 2 was still technically set in the future, 2027 or something like that. Everybody was about the future, but DICE said, ayo, bet. And then they went to the designer's table, and then they went, on the table like that, and they said, "Yo, bet," to the designer team, and the designer team was like, "Ooh, ooh, what's this?" And bada bing, bada boom. What you have after that was Battlefield 1. Everybody was going bonkers, bonkers in the chat over Battlefield 1. Why? Because guess what? It wasn't the future, it wasn't the present, it was the past. And you know what? Yeah, sure. We have depictions, we have Hollywood movies and depictions of what happened in World War One. And sure, we have had some films and footage from World War One that we maybe have not colorized, but maybe have colorized to see today. But this adventure in Battlefield 1 offered a whole brand new take on to what it came to towards the Great War. What the Great War, World War 1, really did to people. You were in the trenches. The mechanics of the game were beautiful. You were in the trenches. The mud was getting on you. You were, the fire was everywhere. Shell shock. You could literally just imagine how shocked and, tormented these people were. What DICE effectively accomplished was a present day representation of what could have went down back then in World War One, and that to me was a very somber note, and it really made me appreciate all that they've done via game-wise, and then via the people who served in actual history, right? It just puts a lot into perspective after that. So, like myself, the whole entire world is taken aback by such a deviation from modern day shooters and then futuristic shooters. And it was one of the biggest power moves ever. Have you even heard it? The Seven Nations Army, Seven Nations Army, whatever song it was. What song was that? It was the Seven Nations Army by the White Straps. I don't know why I was having a problem with that. I was literally singing the name of the song. But it was just mind-boggling. The cinematography, the mechanics, the texture, everything just spoke artwork. It was one of the greatest masterpieces I've ever seen. And then came 2 years later, Battlefield 5 with World War II, and that's great and all. You're living up in the past and you're making it great again. And then you're going back to the original roots of what the studios first started. Only now you're doing it with amped up graphic engine capabilities, and now we have a great time in the land of the fantasy of the past. And don't get me wrong, I was excited for Battlefield 5 as I was excited for Battlefield 1 as I was excited for Battlefield 4 after Battlefield 3. But at some point, you gotta think, man, living in the past is great and all, but I'm a man of the present. Being a man of the present, what does that mean? Well, I'm in the present. I'm the gift. Being a man of the present, being the gift of God and gift of all times. Listen, I like my history. I'm a history buff myself, right? At least I like to think so. I think the farthest I could remember back was the tacos I had back on Monday, but, I don't know. But in any case, after going through the past and such, going through the past with Battlefield via the 2016 and the 2018 launch, and then the future with Call of Duty with their Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare launches, and then Treyarch and Raven with the Black Ops 2, 3, and 4 all set in the future, and not really having Black Ops 3 and 4 not really having a set campaign and storyline, right? I didn't really understand it. People, the players, the consumers, the man himself wanted a revival of a modern day first-person shooter. They wanted to see what DICE was capable of doing 6 years down the line from the road of Battlefield 4, not even to mention 9 years down the line since Battlefield 3, right? Right. And while seeing the capabilities of 2016 and 18 with their two games set in the past of the two great world wars that we ever been in, now it's only common or it's only expected of them to bring something bigger and better to the 2020 launch, right? But they didn't have anything for 2020. They have something for 2021. Now, Battlefield 6 is rumored, I guess not rumored or confirmed, who knows, to come out holiday season 2021. Now, whether that means November, December, or like New Year's Eve, I have no idea. But I can guarantee you people want to see what DICE has in store to rival the likes of what Activision has done as just so recently of 2019 with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. You probably heard me in the first episode of GamPot go about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, right, and how they did a whole marketing campaign through Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone. And don't get me wrong, it was one of the smartest and greatest marketing ploys I have ever seen since the marketing team that came out with Battlefield 3. It really got me invested, it really got me intrigued and interested into what was going on. Now, you remember in the first episode of GamPot, I said that before you buy culture, I watched the whole entire, campaign playthrough of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and that just ruined it for me. I saw it, I didn't like it, I'm not gonna buy it. So that's really set in stone. But on to why Battlefield 4 is a dub. After going in the past, after seeing the future, after being all in the fantasy land of nostalgia, spicy PTSD thoughts and all that. Spicy thoughts is just, PTSD is spicy nostalgia thoughts, okay? You might not like it, but it's there, and it's spicy. It sure has a certain tang to it, okay? Now, you might not like that comment, but who cares? I don't. Anyways, Battlefield 4 was a dub because everyone could fall back on it. It was more modern day than, say, Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3 still had the influence of Battlefield Bad Company 2. You saw it because you saw the Humvees, right? The Humvees were, I think, in Bad Company 2 as well. They switched out the Blackhawks from Bad Company 2 to the Hueys because it went from the Army segment of Bad Company to the Marines of Battlefield 3. You weren't hunting for gold in Battlefield 3. No, instead you were hunting the PLR and Solomon, I think, right? And you were hunting down this guy who was going to set a nuke off in New York City. Now, if you read the book, you would know that they stopped the nuke from blowing up in Paris. But if in the game canon, the nuke blew up in Paris, and you saw that in 2014. 2014 Battlefield 4 brought back so many memories. You had the second assault of the maps, the great maps of the 2011 Battlefield 3, and then you had everything brand new in the roadmap for what was going to be the DLCs of Battlefield 4. You kind of got a glimpse of what they were going to do back when they were doing all the DLC launches for Battlefield 3. You could kind of guess, Battlefield 4 is going to be bigger and better, and it was. Bandar Desert, you might see it in this clip, who knows. But Bandar Desert, it just got me thinking, oh my god, Battlefield 4 is going to be 100 times, 5,000 times better than this. But Battlefield 4 was the best fallback. You get tired of playing in World War I. You get tired of playing in the early 1900s. You get tired of playing in the mid-1900s. You get tired of playing futuristic games. You want something modern day. And 2014 Battlefield 4 delivered just that. Sure, Wrecker, he didn't really have a face. There was a point in the game where you could glitch down in a map where you just finished blowing up the dam and you got airlifted out of that place or somewhere. Actually, no, it was before you did that for the lady at that mission. This is just after you broke out of the prison where you saw Dimitri, who was arrested in France, sent to the prison, and then you got the bond of him. Cool. You never really got to see Rekka's face, but that's fine because you had a mission. You had a mission to do and unlock guns, blah, 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 blah. But it was so great because the multiplayer, I like the campaign, but the multiplayer just set it up. The multiplayer is really what you're doing when you're playing for a game. Campaign, I'll do another video about campaigns. They kind of died down. A great campaign is hard to find these days, unless you're looking at Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. That was a great campaign, not gonna lie. But you're here for the multiplayer, and the multiplayer experience of a modern day shooter with the graphics and the levolution and the mechanics of the games. That's what we were wanting. That's what we want now, but we want it at today's speed. We know that the engines that we have today for graphic renderings and the graphic cards we have today and the next gen consoles and everything coming out technology wise, we know we can do better. That's what we want, and that's what we're hoping is going to happen for Battlefield 6. Yeah, but Battlefield 4 still delivers. Battlefield 4 still brings us back to modern day. Battlefield 4 still makes us think that it's a great game. No matter where you go, I mean, besides the server spoof, you know, besides seeing 60 out of 64 players and you get into the lobby and it's just one person on the enemy team and it's you on the other team, you know, that really messes with and goose with my brain and all. But it's still a great deliverance, right? You find to sit in lobbies that you have to favorite to even play on, but it still brings you to a modern day shooter. That's the whole dub of Battlefield 4, and that's why it was one of the smartest choices for DICE to release that following Battlefield 3. So that's why Battlefield 4 is a dub, because it brings us back to the modern day shooter with most up-to-date mechanics and graphics and whatnots and doodads and widgets and add-ons, okay? I love Battlefield 1, I love Battlefield 5, I love Battlefield 3, I still play Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4 today, but Battlefield 4 will always and forever be a dub. The campaign kind of iffy towards the end. I didn't really like choosing one of the 3 options, but you know, it is what it is. I can't really be the decision maker unless I'm on the design team. DICE, what's up? If you got an open job, I bet I'm gonna go out to Stockholm one day and see if I can apply. I got some crazy ideas. You might like it, you might not. Who knows? I don't. Alright, listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming back to episode 2 as to why Battlefield 4 is a dub and will always be a dub. DICE, thank you for creating the game and publishing it. EA, suck it. Listen, it's not me, it's everyone. Alright, and please like, comment, subscribe, follow, stay tuned, and tune in next time to GamPot episode 3. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful, it's 1:17 a.m. Have a wonderful morning. I'm gonna make a pot of coffee and get my game on.
13 pills and 13 shots. You can call me a living culture shock. Living every day is a dead damn god. Heaven is large, right? Hell go hard. You can't even try to tell the truth apart. From the goddamn start, you're a foot large. Call me Commander-in-Chief, cause I'm in charge.